Hi there, Capricorn, and welcome to your September 2018 tarot reading. So this is the Celestial Tarot, and the way that my readings work is we're going to do 5 cards on this side, and these are going to represent you personally. So your inner motivations, your intentions, where you're focused, what goals you're pursuing, what actions you take personally. What you think about things. And then on this side we're going to do the external environment, and that is going to be the people around you, what's going on there, how are people behaving towards you personally, how do you see them behaving towards you, what results, opportunities, come your way, and events, that you get to partake in. And the reason that I do this is because of the law of attraction. Sometimes you might get cards on your side and they'll represent exactly what you're going through and what you're focused on, but what might not show up is some of the shadow cards, the things that we suppress, and instead they might show up in the external environment. And that's one of the reasons people can get confused, is because we're feeling one way, we think we're feeling good, we're focused on positive things, but then negative things manifest in our experience externally, and actually they are just a reflection of what's going on inside us, and they're pointing to the pain that we haven't been acknowledging. So that mismatch, it gets to be put out in full plain view with the tarot cards, and I like to use it as a tool, as an opportunity for you to be able to integrate your shadow side, to grow, to heal. So I like to pick the cards just whenever I feel like picking one at random. For September 2018, this is Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Rising signs, or if you have Capricorn placed very prominently in your chart. So the first card we get is the Knight of Cups. Now, the Knight of Cups is, it's a Piscean card, and, coupled with the kind of night energy, it can be very passionate and fiery. A lot of amazing, inspirational emotions coming your way, the desire to merge, to bond, to connect in a really exciting way. So that's how you may be feeling, and it could also be some kind of creative inspiration, some kind of thing related to beauty and love and art. Maybe you're consuming information or content that really inspires you and touches you and helps you to feel inspired emotionally to really extend your cup towards the world, your energy, your passion, your emotion. It could be you really trying to prove yourself in a love relationship too, to extend warmth and love to other people, but it is with an excitement, so it's quite a kind of like attractive energy. And it could be you just feeling really good about yourself and feeling like you really have what it takes to help other people to feel good and to bring, good vibes. So the second card, wow, we get the 5 of Cups. Next to the Knight of Cups, that can seem, really like a lot of contradictory energy. It's all over the place. But definitely there was, or there may be some kind of emotional loss that occurs in September. Something that has you feeling like maybe you missed out, like something didn't quite work out the way you planned, like some kind of relationship is not necessarily steady. And with a passionate Knight of Cups energy, it could be that maybe you extended your cup to someone, your desire towards someone or some kind of project, and it just doesn't work out or go the way that you wanted. It feels maybe unfulfilling, maybe not as zesty as you desired. But at the same time, this is a great card of being able to and learning how to overlook the specific details and the minutiae of an experience, and to recognize that an experience can be recreated. It just requires us to not be so short-sighted and to look at things on a big picture level. So the Five of Cups is really asking you to look at the big picture level and to not be so adamant about one particular thing working out or one particular situation or circumstance with regards to people, being the end of the world. It is saying that, this can be redone, this can be recreated, just through another avenue, through another way, and it requires a lot of perspective. So try not to get too, beaten down by this thing. This card actually reminds me of a time when I missed a university exam. I tried everything in my power to get there, but the real reason I think that it just didn't work out for me is because my heart wasn't in it. And I think these two cards together are saying, pursue what you're truly passionate about. Pursue something where your heart is in it. And if you did, and it didn't work out, then, either recheck about, whether you really are passionate about something. And, if it still is something you're passionate about, recognize that it is the feeling of that we can recreate in other ways. And if we really do want something, the small setbacks are not enough to keep us away from it. We're going to keep trying, because there is nothing better than pursuing what you genuinely desire and want. But meet the universe halfway, try to keep perspective, and make sure you're pursuing what you genuinely want. So your third card, wow, we've got a lot of Cups energy here. So this is wish fulfillment, and that's really funny. Here we have a loss, here we have wish fulfillment. This card here is all about abundance, expansion, really being able to connect in many different sensual ways, to many different things, entertainment, it's being able to receive certain pleasures of life, and being able to become one with that experience, to merge with it. It's a Piscean card. We've got two Piscean cards here, and this is a Scorpio card. I guess it's saying, with this card here, anything that, you're over zealous about, or too hung up on, too defensive about, it is going to bring you pain. But if you loosen that up a bit and recognize all the millions of other avenues that you have abundance, that you have opportunities, then there's no doubt that you will find it and pursue it. And the Knight of Cups, Knights are all about testing and going through an experience to prove oneself. So there is a bit of testing going on here. Testing the waters, testing your desires, testing what works for you and what doesn't, testing where you can get what you need and where you can't get what you need, Sometimes we try to pursue something general like abundance, and we may have a very certain path or way of going about it, but it doesn't work out. And actually, the abundance, there's not just one way to receive it. There are millions and millions and millions of paths, and this energy here with the Nine of Cups is saying you have that and you may receive it as soon as you're able to move beyond, this 1, 2, situations where you are tested with that, devotion to your desires. I would also say try not to drown in your sorrows. If you are feeling sad, try not to escape from that. Try to honor those feelings. There are things that disappoint us, and we should first of all own that feeling of disappointment and try not to feel embarrassed about that disappointment. Try to say to yourself, I genuinely feel disappointed that this thing didn't work out, and I wonder, all your limiting beliefs may come up then, I wonder if I'll ever be able to get this thing that I want. And it's good to sort of purge those, to take care of those emotions, and then to recognize and find all the ways that you are abundant and that you can get what you desire. And this could also be emotional support from other people, even a dinner or an event where you start to feel better, you start to heal from this. You definitely will be healing emotionally with regards to your desires in September, Capricorn. So the fourth card we get is the High Priestess. So this tells me that, you may experience a lot of emotional cycles in September, and maybe even things from the subconscious will emerge. So emotions, reactions, sometimes we can be very reactive. The High Priestess is related to the moon, and the moon is those, emotional cycles, the reactivity, the conditioning that arises. It may be a very, up and down kind of month for you in September, but the High Priestess is also very good at finding what is hidden and to recognize, the truth of situations by shining a light on the more obscure aspect of our emotional being. So anywhere where you feel like something doesn't make sense or it's difficult, the High Priestess is you trying to find out what you don't yet know about yourself, that through any difficult emotion. So if you feel a difficult emotion, you ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? How have I felt this before? What do I do to keep manifesting this thing that makes me feel this way? And I also see you trying to console yourself as well, to find some emotional security and happiness where there has been difficulty and disruption and things that feel uncomfortable. Because the High Priestess is related to the moon, it is trying to find comfort and stability again with all the emotional, upset. It's trying to find that feeling of home. But that comes with owning our emotions, finding our true desires as well. How earlier I mentioned that it's all about finding what you truly desire, what you truly want, what makes you feel happy. And the High Priestess could be you, digging into those truths, those emotional truths. Do you know exactly what you want? Or have you just been running on autopilot trying to find or pursue, what other people are telling you should want? And finally, we get the Page of Swords. So, the Page of Swords, I like to see this as somebody who's very quick-witted and, straight up retaliates with their words. But also, it doesn't necessarily have to be a rebellious energy. It could be you really learning and seeking the truth of yourself, especially when it's placed next to the High Priestess. And anything that, wasn't working out for you, learning the truth of that situation, finding out exactly what something means and trying to understand it, and communicating exactly what you want, exactly how you feel, exactly what brings you fulfillment and what doesn't. Learning what is working for you, what isn't, and then trying to come up with a new strategy, a new plan, a new course of action that can help you to resolve the situation, that can help you to keep moving toward your own desires and getting clear with yourself. So I think that is a really, good set of cards right there, and that is you really making the best out of an obscure situation, trying to learn about yourself and understand a situation, understand yourself through any kind of situation. And it's really you moving towards what you want. So that is a really positive energy. Not the easiest of energies, but totally moving in the right direction there. I would also say, try to ensure that you don't use your intellect to avoid emotional pain. Sometimes we can talk ourselves out of a situation, but that talk might be premature. It might not necessarily be the entire truth of a situation. It might require joining with our emotions to reach a full picture understanding. So try not to use your intellect to deny your emotional truths, and try to connect your head and your heart together. So let's see what's happening in your external environment, what's happening around you. And maybe if there is anything you're suppressing, we could see, if that manifests externally. But with the Five of Cups and the High Priestess present on your side of the equation, we've definitely got a lot of, you trying to own your difficult emotions, and, it's not all positive, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it shows that you are owning all of your different kinds of emotions all along the spectrum. In the month of September, sometimes we'll feel positive, and everybody loves to own their positive emotions most of the time, but sometimes we can feel negative, and it is important to recognize those, to own those emotions, and I think you are, because that has showed up on your side. So the first card for your external, we get the Devil card. So the Devil card in your external environment, this is actually a Capricorn card, and it can be about the kind of outer appearances of something, for sure. So it can also be bondage and obsession and being tied down to something. So this could be some situation in your life which had you bonded in September, or has you bonded, that has you tied up, that makes you feel a kind of restriction, an uneasiness, a lack of flow. There could be difficulty being able to express your authentic self in that situation too. And it could be a person. But as a major arcana card, it is a very significant situation. It could even be a job circumstance, or even family relationships that make you feel that way. Something where your authenticity isn't allowed to flow. And you know, maybe you're tied to this thing and you don't want it anymore. Maybe you feel a loss of your own personal desire because of being tied to that thing, and it requires you to have to really take a deep look at, you know, the truth of something. And it may be that you don't have everything that you need to know, because it is, you know, something that isn't at all, you know, showing its complete true nature. And maybe something has you tied down that means you can't express your full truth. And then we get the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands, particularly manifesting in your external environment, I see it as an opening, a doorway for your own personal vision to manifest, a new path being forged, being able to see the contrast between one belief and idea and feeling versus another, and being able to see what you do want versus what you don't want personally, and then deciding, you know, trying to make a decision between one vision and another, and that may present itself to you. You may see, you know, this devil situation in contrast to another situation where you are able to express yourself and be yourself and go in the direction that you want. And maybe you want to take that opportunity up because perhaps it feels more real and personal. If this is another person, it could also be somebody, you know, really taking ownership and leadership and authority in some area of your life, and perhaps you feel like you don't get to do that and it doesn't feel great. Somebody who makes all the decisions, has all the power in their hands. And wow, we get the High Priestess again. So the High Priestess has manifested in both, you know, your internal and your external. So there's a lot of congruence here. Something that you are focusing on is taking fruition. So the High Priestess in your external environment could definitely be some kind of maternal figure. It could be a mother, it could be, you know, any female, but also as a person, High Priestess may even seem guarded. Even though she has access to this, you know, subconscious world, it's because she's so hidden and secretive that she may come across as reserved. And so privately, she may have all these emotions, all this expression, but because it's all subconscious, because it can't all be seen, because it is concealed, she seems cut off and reserved. And that could be a person in your life that, you know, you feel these kinds of emotions towards, and you're trying to understand them and get to the truth of them. And if it's a situation, it's something that you don't understand, it's something that you're trying to understand and you're trying to relate to. You're trying to see the truth of it. And it could also be, you know, you holding secrets, somebody else holding secrets. It could also be difficult emotions that you feel are also kind of manifesting as circumstances in your external environment because you need to take ownership of them and you're trying to. It could also be, a lot of mood swings, people in your environment. And this is also, because it's related to the moon, cycles. Cycles, beginning, ending in your life, in some kind of situation. Things constantly changing and moving. And it can be difficult to know where you stand. You may feel chained to those cycles. Feeling like you can't be free because of the tides constantly moving in and out, dictating, your life. And then we get the moon. So, the moon is a Piscean card once again. And this is all about the subconscious. It's all about things that are hidden, that we can't see, emotional kind of truths, but it's also healing. So you could experience something in your external reality that allows you to find emotional healing, that gives you the opportunity to find out some kind of truth, something that's hidden, and you are motivated towards revealing it, towards finding the truth of it. You could also get a lot of even compassionate energy extended towards you. That compassionate energy might give you the strength to, own your own emotional truth, and then to move on from any kind of loss, and to find your passion, to find your fulfillment, and to heal. But again, it could also be things that are hidden, particularly with the Devil card present, hidden enemies or something like that. Very 12th house related things, something that's a mystery that you're trying to figure out, that you don't understand quite as much yet. And there's a lot of, tricky energy, trying to maneuver, trying to figure things out. Maybe you are distrustful of something. Maybe you're distrustful of this Two of Wands opening, And there's also a lot of duality, themes of duality. And duality is all about contrast. You have black and white, you have up and down, all those kinds of things, yin and yang. It's trying to discern between situations. And it may not be the most obvious, of roads. So the final card we get for your external, it's the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is an explorer, somebody with a lot of passion, even more than the Knight of Cups. He has tons of zeal and energy, and he's not happy being in one place, and he's just raring to go, ready. If we were talking in knight terms, in terms of a battlefield, he'll just go straight out onto the battlefield because he has a cause that he really believes in. And this could be definitely, a person in your environment who has this energy. And it could be, positively expressed, but it can also be, negatively expressed. Somebody being quite aggressive towards you, for example, because they really have, an assertiveness and a certain way of being, a certain thing they want. And that kind of aggression can cause one to feel in a lot of emotional pain. Because the Five of Cups is related to Mars as well. It's that kind of assertiveness. That assertiveness could knock a few of your cups, and it has you feeling a bit low. And then you may, be doing your homework here with the Page of Swords to really be able to retaliate against that. But the Knight of Wands is really, in a positive sense, a very passionate individual. They may even be the one who shows you the way, with this Two of Wands energy, who helps you or inspires you to get out of a situation that isn't so easy or understandable, who lights the way for you. Their being might inspire you. It could even be a person, online, because we meet so many characters and personalities these days just by virtue of the internet. It could be somebody who really shows you that and helps you to pick up on this energy. So, do let me know in the comments, Capricorn, how this resonates with you, because I'm really interested to know, particularly when I do the external side of the reading. The meanings have to shift a lot with the cards, and I'd just be really interested to know how these played out for you, if at all. So do let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you in next month's reading in October. Thank you so much for listening.